Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting East Coast Volkswagen, and I'm checking out a 2020 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport in the SEL trim level. This Atlas is sitting on 255/50 Pirelli tires, wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels with a silver gloss finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Pure White, and it's just a basic gloss white. There's no pearl coat or anything like that in it. So looking here in the front, it has this is the first vehicle in the US to have the new Volkswagen emblem. So it's slightly redesigned Volkswagen emblem. Some people may not notice, but that is the new one. So here in the front, it does have parking sensors kind of hidden in the matte black here and here across the front. There's some chrome cross portions there in the grille. Now the grille has a combination of gloss and matte black in there. No fog lights, but the places for the fog lights is wheel well ventilation. Actually goes into the wheel well. And that's more for an air curtain than cooling for aerodynamics. Now the headlights are LEDs, all LEDs. High beams, low beams, daytime running lights, but your turn signals are standard bulbs here on the front. Now with the SEL and up trim levels, you have a daytime running light right here and here. The lower trims just has the LED portion just here for the daytime running light for some reason. Now the headlights, they're LED powered, but the low beam is in a projector tube focused beam, and the high beam is in a reflector. Then instead of a fog light, they have what they call a all-weather light, which is kind of looks like a turning light, a cornering light, but it illuminates this portion right in here, and you turn it on just like you would the fog light, but it illuminates that instead. Looking at the profile, you can see that matte black plastic that's in the front grille portion also continues here around the wheel wells and at the base of the vehicle. This helps out with road debris and for looks as well. And then you have a pretty strong line here across the side, and with the way the light is kind of showing that off. The side mirrors and the handles are all body colored. Now it does have some chrome around the glass here, around the entire glass, solidifying it, and then you have a matte black pillar here in the center portion. Now if you were to tint the front glass to match the back, so that way it would solidify all that. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system designed to where you just keep this in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. You don't actually have to take it out of your pocket unless you want to push one of these buttons, which these are handy because it does have remote start, lock, unlock, and the ability to open up the power lift gate. There's a panic button here on the side and a physical key on the inside as well. Let's go ahead and push that panic button. It has a little beepy horn. For such a big vehicle, it seems a little, I don't know, too beepy. It'd be nice to have more like a loud horn for a vehicle this size. Okay, so it does have the remote start and the ability to open up the power lift gate, and this will open it up completely. So we go ahead and push that button, and you can see that goes right on up for you. So you can open that up as you're approaching the vehicle and load it up. So as long as you have the key with you, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's within a close proximity of the outside of the driver, passenger, or even the rear doors, you can lock the door by placing your finger over this little sensor indicated with that little line. You'll notice that it'll be on the back doors as well. So you can do the same thing on the back doors. To unlock it, you simply put your hand behind the handle. It has a sensor back here. It assesses the key position and your hand position and allows you access to the vehicle. Now, like I said, you have to have the key on the outside of the door for this to work. Now, there's also a physical key location here under this cover. You will need to take this off, and it'll be under here on the driver's side only. The blind spot indicator is here on the side mirrors. It also has LED turn signal lights there on the side mirrors as well. So if you notice, this door goes all the way down to the bottom. So when you open it up, you can see there's a seal there, and it completely encloses the threshold. So that keeps dirt and debris from getting in this area. So some vehicles don't go all the way to the bottom. They have this exposed portion to where it can get dirty, and as you're entering the vehicle, it can get you dirty. So covering that completely up and having a seal to keep that threshold as clean as possible, I think that's a pretty good idea. So here's the inside of the passenger side door. Soft touch surfaces are here, and it's kind of like a rubbery synthetic type material. This is a hard touch here in the middle, and then you get down here to like a vinyl synthetic leather type material and have some contrast stitching, and then this is a soft rubbery type material. Not super soft, but it is a little bit soft. This passes through, and then you have a large pocket here at the bottom. Here's your threshold. No fancy sill plate or anything here, but it does have a power seat. It goes up and down, forward and back, tilt, everything. And a synthetic leather seating surface, and they are heated as well. And it has these perforations here on the center portion, and then the outer portion is solid, and it has the contrast stitching. Now right here is a cloth material, like a microfiber type cloth, because that comes in contact with this hard plastic right in here. So this is more supple and more durable than the synthetic leather, so that way it protects the side of the seat. Plenty of legroom here in the Atlas. So this seat wasn't even all the way back, but just to give you a general idea, it is just massive here in the front and the back. There's a net pocket there on the passenger side of the console. You have hard touch surfaces here, and then the soft rubbery type surface for your dash. Has a lockable glove compartment. Smooth interior. Then you have SD card and a optical drive here as well. Massive sunroof. You can see the massive opening here for the door, and the door swings out quite wide, but not really that wide, really. I mean, it could go a little bit more, but I think it's adequate considering you have this opening. But look here in the back, it's like you have more room as far as the opening goes, and the door swings out in a similar angle, but just plenty of room here, just wide open space to get in and out of the vehicle. And the back doors go all the way down as well, giving you that clean threshold. So here's the back door. You notice is less fancy. Hard touch too. Like there's some synthetic vinyl type material here and here, but the rest of it's hard touch. Now it does have this cool little pocket here, down here, and a more designated bottle holder, and this passes through as well. So lots and lots and lots of room. So it's easy to get in and out of the vehicle because the door opening is wide. Even with the front seats all the way back, you have a tremendous amount of room here. Completely, almost completely flat floor there in the center, so even the center passenger will have lots of room. The seats also tilt. You notice this first seat I have tilted, the other one more in the vertical position. So this is a 60-40 split fold down. Cup holders and armrest here that you can move out of the way in case you need to use a center passenger. And then you have two USB charge ports and a 115 volt power supply back here. Rear climate vents and a little storage pocket. And speaking of storage pockets, you have them on the back of both front seats, here and over there. Now when you fold these seats down, like so, you notice that bottom portion goes down. So this actually helps, like it actually goes, when you add to your cargo space, typically vehicles, this portion will be higher than the cargo area, which kind of limits your cargo capacity. In this case, it actually is slightly lower than the cargo area. So it just gives you that more than a flat floor. I mean, it's just really a lot of space. Now you can fold down one seat or the other to add to your cargo space while it's still maintaining passenger space. So we can put a long box here. We still have this side, other side, that we can put passengers. So it's very functional. Another thing that's find that's very interesting, these seats are locked down. Once they go down, you will have to release them to go back up. They don't just flop down and just flop there. They are secure down. So that's a really good safety feature, especially if you're tying down things, you're putting things back here and tying them down. This is a really good idea, because in the event of an accident, if this seat's flopping around, it's going to be a hazard. But if it's secure in the vehicle, then it doesn't matter, it's not moving. The fuel door is here on the passenger side, and it's a locking door. So it's locked right now. To unlock it, you unlock the vehicle. So it locks and unlocks with the vehicle. So now that the vehicle's unlocked, we can go ahead and open it up. And it has a traditional cap, tether, and a little post right here. So we can take that post and put it there, so that holds the cap for you while you're pumping gas. You can look at the back of the vehicle. It has these roof rails up here that which you can put crossbars on, and they're a silver color, and then a shark fin antenna in a gloss black here in the center. The third brake light is at the top of the glass, powered by LEDs. It does have a rear wiper right here, but I would be careful with like automatic car washes with that thing. So here in the back, it has full LED taillights. So even the turn signal is LED, unlike the front. So it does have the 4Motion badging. So 4Motion is all four wheels in motion. In other words, all-wheel drive vehicle. Has the new Volkswagen emblem. And the backup camera is annoyingly offset. So it's just slightly off center. So it's right in there, and it'd just be so much better for me if it was in the very center. But anyways, you have parking sensors, just like the front, kind of hidden in the black portions. And it has these things that look like they're intended to be exhaust surrounds, but it's basically just nothing. The real exhaust is underneath the vehicle. So you can decide what you think of that. So opening up the power liftgate, you can use the key. You can push a button under here, which is also a little bit offset. It's not in the middle. Or you can just simply kick your foot underneath. And if you do it right, then it'll open up for you. So lots of legroom, lots of passenger space, and tremendous amount of cargo space back here as well. So with this particular model, it has no third row. So you have even more cargo space than you would normally have with a regular Atlas. So it has two illumination points here with the, look like standard bulbs with the lights. Little storage pocket there, little hangers. You can also put in a net pocket, I suppose, and also a shade can go in there. A 12-volt power supply here on the left side. More storage space, tie downs, very secure tie downs, metal ones, attached to the vehicle. This lifts up, like so. And you have a spare tire and more space around it for cargo. There's your tools there as well. So I mentioned that you can fold the seats down. I already have one seat folded down, so you can see how much that adds to the cargo space here. Of course, you can fold down the other one and have a really wide open space back here. Okay, so lowering the power lift gate, all you do is just push this button and it'll lower it for you. To start it up, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you put your foot on the brake, hold it, and push this button right here. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now the floor mat's not in place yet, but it does have places for it to hook in place so it stays straight on you. And there's your accelerator, brake pedal. You notice just wide open space, including a footrest that is huge. Really nice. So the trunk release is right here, and when you close the door, it closes on top of that trunk release. So that way you can't accidentally pull it while you're in the vehicle driving or whatever. So let's go ahead and look under the hood. To open the hood, the latch is in the very center. Unlike the backup camera, the latch is right here in the very center. Just move it to the left and lift up, and it goes up and stays up by itself. So there's the latch there. Easy to get to. Now, the hood actually has two release points. So there's one here, there on the right side here, and one here on the left. So you can see, the hood is very secure here on the front. There's some insulation on the underside of the hood. On the firewall is almost completely insulated. You also have some heat shielding as well. And the suspension towers, they are both braced in with the unibody structure of the vehicle, which is all connected to each other, which gives you a solid front end. So the battery is also insulated. It's here on the right side, and it's easy to get to. So you can see it says TSI on the top of the engine. That's turbocharged stratified injection. So it's a turbocharged direct injection 4-cylinder engine. You actually see the turbo there in the back, which makes sense. They put the heat shielding there because it does get very hot. The 2.0 liter TSI 4-cylinder engine is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So your intake is here in the front, and then you have your oil filter right there. That's easy to get to. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So we have the door lock controls up there. The power windows are here, and they're all one touch down and one touch up. So even the rear glass has that feature, and also the glass goes all the way up and all the way down. Same thing with the front. Side mirrors are adjusted here. You just pick a side by turning this knob, and then you adjust it with like a little joystick. This is how you release the power lift gate. Now the driver's seat is powered, but it has a little bit more features here. So one thing is your presets. It has 3 different setting positions for your power seat. The normal controls like on the other side, but this one also has added a lumbar adjustment there. A 2-way lumbar adjustment. To the left of the steering column is a little storage compartment right here, so you can put some stuff in there. And then your headlight controls. So your headlight controls, it has off, automatic, parking light, and headlight. Now, I was talking about the all-weather light. You actually pull this out in order to activate that. So you have a tilt and a telescoping steering column as well. And you lock it in place with that lever. So I'm sitting in the vehicle. There's a lawnmower. going by right there. And you can barely hear it. I mean, you can hear it, but it's pretty quiet in here actually. So I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out. I have the seat all the way back and all the way down, and too much room for me. I'm 6 feet tall and I would have to pull it up a little bit. I can feel extra space there. The angle of the footrest is perfect for me, but like I said, I would have to pull the seat up. There's plenty of knee room and leg room. Now the only limitation is right here, but other than that, it's just lots of space. So the steering wheel is a synthetic leather wrapping, a little bit of a flat bottom, and it has a kind of more round on the back and sharper here, sharper round surface here on the inside. So it's a very distinct feel. Volkswagens have that, and it has a little bit of cushion to it, but it is probably on the harder end as far as steering wheels go, not super soft. On the left side of the steering wheel is your volume for your radio, and here on the right side is change through your tracks. So that's your radio related stuff here. Up here is your cruise control. So once you turn it on, you can set, resume, change through your speeds, but it also has the adaptive cruise control, which you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you by pushing the center button, and it'll cycle through different distances. You also have a safety feature button here. This pops up safety features and what you can turn on or off when you want to, but we'll get into that in just a minute, the screen more. Here on the right side, like I mentioned, this is your going through your tracks on your radio or whatever you happen to be playing. And then you have a heated steering wheel, so you can turn that on, and it'll let you know that it's on here there on the screen. And then it has this OK, pages, up and down, and then a voice recognition, and then view. So this corresponds with the screen between the gauges, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Windshield wiper controls are there on the right side, and then your turn signal and your headlight dimmer switch is on the left side. Okay, so this has the digital dash. So basically pretty much everything here is digital. Now it does have a fixed gauge here for your engine coolant temperature and your fuel gauge there on the right side. But here in the middle portion, it's just all one big screen. So let me just push this view button here. And so we have these pages, OK, up and down, and a view. So keep that in mind. I'm going to be using these buttons to cycle through this information. So pushing the view button, I'm going to kind of cycle through the different views. So you have this one with your tachometer, your speedometer there on the right, digital speedometer, kind of small at the bottom. So you have basically kind of simulated dials. Push it again, they minimize. Now you basically have just a big map for your navigation, which is pretty neat. And your digital speedometer's here, what gear you're in. It has some information here on the edges as well. Hit the view again, and it goes to this more informational screen. Hit it again, it goes back to this dial screen. So if we go to the pages left and right, I can scroll to the right, so you can see it gives me more different information here in the center. So I have assist systems, that would be your, so like your adaptive cruise control, that kind of thing. Navigation map, whatever your radio is doing, telephone, vehicle status, whatever's going on there, driving data, and then it goes back there. So navigation probably, you know, if you're going somewhere, definitely would be handy to have right here in front of you. Now if I go up and down with the up and down arrows, I can zoom in and out on this map, okay? So if I'm going to another screen, if I want to go up and down now in the audio, it'll change my, I can go to my sources and select that, and I can go in all this stuff, change to the USB or whatever, Bluetooth audio, auxiliary inputs, all this different ways of playing music through the sound system. Make those selections. So under driving data, you have the range, speed, road sign. You can go through and get what you want. So I'm gonna go to speed. Now we have a digital speedometer in the center instead of just this little one down here. So actually that would be my default. I would leave it there unless I needed the navigation, because I like a digital speedometer, and having that little tiny one down there is not so good. This one's a little bit bigger. Probably could be bigger, much bigger. You notice there's a lot of empty space around it. I think it would have been a better idea to have it larger, but that's the way they have it. So just to give you an idea, this screen is highly customizable. There's tons of information, and there's things you can do right here on the screen, so you don't have to go and fiddle with this screen so much. You have the information, especially like the navigation, have it right here, to where you can, you know, focus on it when you need to focus on it. So the touch screen here does have the physical volume, tune through the stations there. You have some soft touch buttons here on the sides that you can quickly go to different things that you want to go to. So like the radio, you have your presets, your station list. You can change your band and all that stuff. Now you notice that bottom bar, when I put my hand close to it, it has these little sensors right in here that it will kind of pop up. Just kind of little neat thing there. So we can go to media, so we can change audio sources here as well as on the other screen. The phone, once you pair a phone, then you can have your access to your recent calls, your phone book, and all that stuff. You also have voice recognition here, navigation. So you can put in a particular address, or we can view the map here. So let's go to map. We can pinch zoom and look around and get our bearings. You could turn on or off your voice guide, so if you don't want it talking to you, you can turn that off quickly. And see, it all goes away until I put my hand there. Alright, and then the app. So this has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and MirrorLink all available. So you would have to plug in your device to, and it'll activate here on the screen. Then you get information about your car here. There's your settings. So has a lot of functional information here as well as in the other screen. So it actually has two screens for different purposes, but there is some overlap here, as you can tell. Climate control is down here. So it has a dual zone. So your driver and passenger temperatures are here. Fan speed's in the middle where you want the air to blow. You have your heated seat controls. So it's a 3-stage: high, medium, low, and off. You can sync the driver and passenger by pushing that button, which it already is. Front and rear defrosters are here. When you push this menu button, it pops up here on the screen. So that way you can kind of visualize what you're doing as far as with the climate control. We don't have to go into this, but it does have that capability. So it has the auto stop start feature. So in other words, the engine will turn off when you're sitting at a stoplight. You can turn that feature off if you'd like. 4-way flashes are here. So down here you have a 12-volt power supply, your auxiliary input, and 2 USB ports. So this is where you would want to plug in your device for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, or just basically playing music in the sound system. I don't know if you can tell, but right in here is a very large pocket. Right in here. So, and has this rubber portion at the bottom and a wireless charger. So you put your cell phone there and it will charge it. So that's handy if you're, and it's angled. So I don't know if you could tell, it's angled like this quite a bit. So whatever you put in there is going to stay in there. Now you do have to, there's no covers on the USB ports or auxiliary inputs. So whatever you put in there, it's going to get kind of, if it's big, it's going to get meshed up against those ports. So you want to just understand, you don't want to get trash and lint and different things in those ports there, and they are uncovered. So you want to keep that in mind. So it has the cup holders here, and it's all open here in the center part, and there's these little articulating pieces here as well. So here's your shifter, and put it in reverse. Two things will happen when you put it in reverse. One is the backup camera will pop up. It does have active guidelines, so as you turn the steering wheel, it will give you an estimated trajectory of the vehicle as it's backing up. The other thing that'll happen is your parking sensors will activate as well. So when you have it in the normal drive position, you just pull back on it and bump it like that, it will go into sport mode. You pull it back to bump it again, and it will go back into drive. And you'll know what it is because it'll show up right here. Right there. See the drive, I bump it down, it goes into sport mode. So if I wanted to change the gears manually, then I can just move it here to the right. Now I can bump it up and down like a ratchet shifter, and I'll know what gear it is because it'll show up here. Right now it's not letting me get out of first gear because I'm just sitting still. Alright, so we already saw the start button. This is electronic parking brake. Push it down to release it, pull it up to engage it. And this will engage the rear wheels. To release it, you will have to push the brake to hold the brake and then push it down to release it. Your parking sensors, you can turn those on or off here. So you have on, off. So once they're on, as you're backing up, they will activate it, but you can always turn them off. So that when the light's off, they're off. So if it's beeping at you and annoying you, you can always turn them off. So this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. So it has different drive modes to accommodate for different situations. So it has a snow mode. It actually has visualizations up here. And then regular, normal. So you have normal, eco under this regular one. And then it has off-road. And then on the far right, you have off-road custom. So this is the one that you customize. So when you go here to custom, you can customize it and adjust what you want to adjust. So steering, drive system, adaptive cruise control, you can go in there and adjust whatever you want to adjust. So when you have it in custom, that's what it'll do when you choose custom. All right, now here's your armrest. Very soft, comfortable, and really big, so you can share it with your passenger no problem really with this one. Nice and wide and soft. And then this lifts up, and I like the way it just kind of stays where you leave it, so it doesn't flop down on you. Has some contrast stitching. Now that's a French design contrast stitching here, unlike other places in the vehicle. Alright, that lifts up, and you have a large storage compartment. Now there's a USB port is in here as well. And it has this felt lining that you can take out. And there's a smooth plastic on the inside there. Now my recommendation would be if this was a lighter color, so like a tan or just a light gray or something, so that way you can see in here a little bit better, because at nighttime or even during the daytime, you can see it kind of absorbs all the light, so it's not that easy to see when it's black, but a white background under there would really help out with visibility in a compartment like this. Also, wires can go in and out of the compartment all across here, except for the latch there in the middle, of course. So when you close it, it does have some space there to allow for wires to go in and out. It has an auto dim rear view mirror, and pretty standard size and all that. And then up here you have some reading lights, tap lights. You can turn on the lights here, interior lights. You can have them turn on with a door if you'd like. This is for your shade, for your sunroof. We'll get to that in just a minute. And then you have emergency roadside assistance buttons here. So this is for your shade, for your sunroof, and this is to actually articulate the sunroof. The visor has a mirror and a little LED light. So when you open it up, it turns on. You close it, it turns off. A little clip right there. And then this has like a vinyl surface. That also extends out. Okay, so the sunroof is massive. So it's a panoramic sunroof, and it covers, and it doesn't block 100% of the light. It actually lets a pretty good amount of light still in through the cover, which is not all that great when on a hot summer day. You want to block as much as you possibly can. Also, it's black, so it's going to absorb some heat there, and kind of trap it in there. But anyways, it does have this cover that you can open up here. Push that button, and it slowly moves on back, and it goes way back because it's a large sunroof. It's really cool because the rear passengers, if they're claustrophobic or something, this really helps out with giving them you know, just a feeling of not being so trapped, I guess you can say. All right, so this button, this is where you can tilt, and it's the front portion that tilts. The back portion's fixed. And then if we want to move it back, it moves up above the rear glass, like so. Hit it again, it goes a little bit further back. Nice wide open space, and there's this little thing that pops up that helps with the airflow. And then we can close it up, and we can also do the shade as well. All right, so let's look at the visibility in the back. So there's lots of windows, and I have one of the seats down and the other one up, just to give you an idea of the difference there as far as the visibility, because the headrest does get in the way a little bit, but so does the pillar. So it all depends on how much cargo you have back there, how many passengers you have. But even with the small amount of, I don't think it's bad visibility really. But you do have a lot of technology, the blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert. You have the parking sensors, the backup camera. They have a lot of technology as well to help you out. So anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you to East Coast Volkswagen here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for providing the vehicle, and I'll see you guys next time.